Happy Friday here on Southeast Sports Plus. It is the day before a bunch of college football games in and around the SEC. A lot of teams are stepping out of conference this week just before rivalry week, so not as many interconference matchups going into this week, but a really strong slate ahead. It was the first matchup at 11 a.m. was a team that Kirk Herbstreit had no idea how to pronounce. Sanford, Texas A&M there in that matchup. Another non-conference matchup, Charlotte and Georgia at 11:45. The other 11 a.m. kickoff, one of the few SEC matchups, Missouri and Oklahoma. Could be a big one not only for Oklahoma, but also for our projections for the bracket.
Yes.
With you having Oklahoma in, me out. And then Alabama will host Eastern Illinois.
Yeah, moving right along here. Mercer is going to travel to Auburn at 1 o'clock, and Deuce Knight's starting debut in college football. And then another one of our SEC matchups, Kentucky facing Vanderbilt, looking to throw a wrench in the Commodores' college football playoff hopes. Another SEC matchup, Arkansas taking on Texas. Arkansas is probably going to lose their seventh close game of the year, one possession game of the year. I mean, you could just book it at this point. And then an interesting one, Coastal Carolina taking on South Carolina. I think South Carolina is only 22.5-point favorite in that one, so it's a little bit interesting. And then wrapping it up here, Tennessee looking for their first win in the Swamps at 2003. That's a little bit shocking. And then Western Kentucky will face LSU.
I think they get it done there. I think that they end up saying,
Western Kentucky?
Right. Exactly. In my opinion, the SEC, I mean, we always try to pick a good game.
Right.
I think the game, of course, to watch to me, of course, is Missouri, Oklahoma, just for the ramifications of what that one might mean for the upcoming college football playoff brackets coming up in the near future. So it is really interesting. I think that this game or this week will take a nice little turn here. And so there's some other games outside of the SEC that I think are really intriguing there as well. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But first, our predictions.
Yes, we love to do predictions on the show.
Yep.
And let's roll right into them here. So we've got 5 games to predict this weekend, SEC Week 13. Let's start with number 22, Missouri at number 8, Oklahoma. 7.5-point favorites are the Sooners.
I think I gave away my handicap earlier, but I do think Missouri gets the win. I think that they can only win a certain way to ground it out. It might not be the most aesthetically pleasing game. I think Missouri will run the football, ground and pound. I think not only do they stay within the number, I think they win the game outright and really shake things up after beating Oklahoma and Norman.
I wonder if this number is going to shift a little bit with the news of Bo Pribula, because I think 7.5 points with Pribula playing is a little bit shocking. I would definitely take Mizzou at +7 right there. All right, Kentucky at number 14, Vanderbilt. 8.5-point favorites are the Commodores.
I think that Vandy gets a scare. I'm with you. I'm with Julian Mendelssohn on this. This is a dangerous team. This is a dangerous game.
Cutter Bully's been playing good.
Oh, for sure. And Kentucky will walk in there with all the confidence. And I think if this game was in Lexington, I'd be more apt to pick Kentucky. This game being in Vandy, I do believe Vandy pulls it off.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's definitely going to be a close game after the first quarter. It's gonna be a close enough game where, you know, if you're watching the ticker at the bottom of the screen, you'll be like, whoa,
yes,
Vanderbilt and Kentucky are tied at 10. Like, what is going on here? But I think Vanderbilt, Clark Lee gives an inspirational speech at halftime, and Vanderbilt pulls away. I think they win by 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
Arkansas at number 17, Texas, 8.5-point favorites.
This number is really interesting because it's almost begging you to take Arkansas because they've played nothing but close games. They've played all one-possession games, and guess what? That's the closest to a non-one-possession game as you get, 8.5 points. I just think that because Texas does have a glimmer, a shot, a morsel of hope to get into the college football playoff, they'll be focused against Arkansas. I like Texas. I know I liked them last week, and I usually burn teams off my list after liking them, and then you embarrass me like that. But I will go with Texas in that matchup, covering but barely.
So here's the thing. Arkansas's defense is garbage. It's so bad.
Hot garbage.
But as of late, they've been playing good. But at the same time, this is still that Arkansas defense that allowed 363 pass yards to Trinidad Chambliss in his first Division I start. I think Arch eclipses that. I think Arch throws for 400 yards this weekend.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I think Texas blows Arkansas out the water.
Interesting.
And then maybe the fans will finally be like, no, we don't want Bobby Petrino. I'm still so shocked. I am baffled that they are still so high on Bobby Petrino when the same results as Sam Pittman is happening right now. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
None.
Anyways, Coastal Carolina at South Carolina, 24.5-point favorites. I find this a little interesting.
I find this interesting as well, but this is probably the angriest team in the country after what happened last week, giving up 31 points in the second half, or 27 points in the second half. I feel bad for Coastal Carolina because I think South Carolina is going to take all their frustrations out on the Chanticleers.
I like that as well. I think Coastal Carolina wins by 30. And then finally, Tennessee at Florida. Tennessee, 4.5-point favorites.
I think that the streak comes to an end. I think Tennessee finally gets a win in the Swamp.
Yes.
I don't know if they cover the number, but I think they get the win in the Swamp.
Yeah, 4.5. That's kind of in that happy medium zone, but I think DJ Lagway is going to try to play well against this Tennessee defense. I think Joey Aguilar, though, throws for 450.
Yeah, it should be a fun week just ahead of rivalry week. Enjoy all the college football games. We'll see you back here next week.